Hello and welcome to this video. Today I will be discussing a couple of things from the reports that I usually present on this channel. One of those things are cases of exception. You usually hear me speak about cases of exception in the reports, but some of you do not understand what that is all about. And so in this video, I will be providing you with explanation relating to cases of exception. But before we go into that, let me touch on the reports themselves because I've realized that there is confusion at that level as well. I've seen from a number of comments that some of you have been asking why the case number range that I reported in one video fell back to a lower case number range. So that is where we are going to begin. Now, what I want you to understand is that on this channel, on a weekly basis, I present two separate reports. It is true that both of those reports concern interviews for the DV 2024 program, but one of those reports speak about the scheduling of those interviews, and the second speaks about the conduct of the interviews. So let's begin with the first kind of report, that is the one that speaks about the scheduling of interviews. I usually present that report on Saturdays. And in that report, I tell you the case number range where interviews are being scheduled at your embassy or consulate. The essence of this first report is to indicate to those of you who have not yet been scheduled for interview, those of you who are expecting to receive your interview notification, how far the scheduling of interviews is from your case number, or how close it is to your case number at your embassy. So when I designate a certain case number range, you can look at that case number range, and considering your case number, you see that interview scheduling is gradually progressing in the direction of your case number. That's the essence of this first report, the report that I make the effort to present every Saturday. And then there is the second report, the one that talks about the conduct of interviews, that is, interviews that have already taken place. So in addition to the first report that I present on Saturday, usually on Mondays, I present the second report that tells you the highest case number range where interviews have already taken place at your embassy or consulate. And the essence of this second report is to give you an indication of how well your embassy or consulate is performing. By following this second report, you get to see whether your embassy is interviewing diversity visa cases at a fast rate or at a slow rate. That's the essence of this second report. So these are two independent reports. You should not confuse one for the other. Now, a very important thing, the report that I present on Monday is not the continuation of the report presented on Saturday. As I said, the Saturday report speaks of the scheduling of interviews, and the Monday reports speak of the interviews that have already taken place. So in order for you to get the continuation of one report, watch out for the report that will be presented 1 week later. If the report is presented on Saturday, the continuation of that report will be the following Saturday. And for the one that is presented on Monday, the continuation will be the following Monday. That is how I've designed the reports, and that is how you should understand and follow them. Now, over to the issue of cases of exception. Some of you have been asking what cases of exception are, and so here's the explanation regarding cases of exception. As the expression says, cases of exception, they are cases that are exceptions. In other words, there is a norm that is established, but these cases fall outside of that norm. What does that mean? At each embassy or consulate, at a given time, there is a certain case number range that is considered, whether it is for the scheduling of interviews or the conduct of those interviews. Now, when you look at the data, you will realize that although the case number range that is currently being considered is this case number range, there is a case, or there are a few cases that are outside of that case number range that fall beyond that case number range, but in spite of that, they are still considered. Those are the cases that are referred to as cases of exception because they are exception to what is happening at that moment. They fall beyond the normal case number range that the embassy or consulate is considering at that moment. Now, how do cases of exception come about? Cases of exception mostly come about as a result of transfer of cases from one embassy to the other. Now, you may not know this, but when cases are transferred from one embassy to another, it is the case number range of the embassy where those cases originated from that is taken into consideration when dealing with those cases at the new embassy. And because of that, there are cases that are transferred and they have their case number at a level where the case number range of the new embassy has not yet reached. That is how cases of exception generally come about. And you can clearly see them when you go through the CS file. So it is not from the normal cases assigned at an embassy that some cases are selected and made cases of exception. No, that is not how it happens. It is generally cases that are transferred from one embassy to the other. The transfer could be based on request or based on prevailing circumstances. So in case your case is stationed at one embassy, then generally the issue of cases of exception does not concern you. What concerns you is the actual case number range that is being considered at that embassy at the moment. So that is it concerning the issue of cases of exception, and those are a number of things that I thought it wise to share with you as I saw that they had begun to create confusion in the minds of some of you. So that is it. That brings us to the end of the video. Thanks for watching it. See you, God willing, in the next one. Goodbye.